It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right, welcome in, everybody. We're at Tiebreakers, and nice to have you with us here. Patrick Johnson, Philip the Rep Pilkington back in our studios. Billy Grover, William Grover is here. And, no, there's somebody from Arkansas, William, so this is an ACC thing. And we got the great Tree Roundtree from Channel 9 here. They're doing the video, of course, of the coaches show, but we've also got... Do my eyes deceive me? Michael, don't call me Buscemi, trading off his famous cousin's name. And he is, thankfully, Pilkington, talking to Tree Roundtree like they're long-lost cousins.
Hey, maybe Michael's cousin with everybody.
He might be. He might refer to himself henceforth as Tree Buscemi. That might be what he does, trading off a couple of famous and infamous names there. All right, so we've got basketball tonight from Tiebreakers. I'm excited about that. Coach Schwartz will be here. Huge game Thursday for East Carolina following yesterday's win. Went back after I got in from working over the weekend, telecast for the ACC Network Extra, and saw the end of the game, watched that back. Pirates did their marked best to try to give it away, but we're able to hang on and get the victory. And as a result, ECU is now 17 wins and 9 in the conference. So a great opportunity with 2 games remaining to get 10 league victories. Right now, 2 games out of the 4th spot. They're in the 5th hole. But if you look at it, they have a possibility to get to the 4th spot. Got to win out, got to have some help, but there is a possibility to get there. So we'll see if that winds up happening. Also called the ECU baseball game Friday. Unfortunately, the Pirates lost that one. Big 7th inning from the Kent State Golden Flashes. And then there was, of course, a couple of victories. You know, Indiana State's not vintage Indiana State of recent year, or at least recent years Indiana State, but still that's a good win. Took care of business. And Virginia Tech they put up a lot of their numbers against Bucknell. I know they put up some numbers coming in on the whole, but a lot of it was what they did against Bucknell. They did get the victory, and that was good. I mean, look, win's a win, and you come back and win the weekend, and that's what ECU teams have traditionally done, is close out things successfully. So good to see that. I was shocked to see last week women's basketball won 2 road games down in Florida. And now they're in a spot where they finish up their season tomorrow, and they're going to be trying to gather some mo as they go to the conference tournament starting this weekend in Fort Worth, Texas. Pilk, do we have any audio from Mike Schwartz readily available in the postgame from what you did earlier?
I can pull whatever they sent you yesterday. Who sent you the audio yesterday?
For basketball, it was Isaac J. Morales.
Did he send it from my email or his?
Let me look and see. I think it came from him. It came from Isaac Morales.
Can you forward me the email and I'll yank it real quick?
Yeah, let me forward it to you.
Or if it's somewhere in the system, I'll find it.
It's in the system, but it's probably easier just to email it to you at this point. And just let me know when we have that. There's a couple of things there that we'll get. Obviously, you got a little testy at the end, too, of the basketball game. But a good victory and an exciting victory. There's some other news that's broken today as well. The AAC has finally put down the last of the schedule, or at least they've organized a date. Pilk, we last had a show Thursday, and they had just released the schedule, right? And
Yeah.
for football. And the schedule update, the American has put this out. The game against BYU, which was an either-or date, has been settled for Saturday, September 20th. And then the Pirates will turn around and play a Thursday game against Army, September 25th. So the thing that would concern me, or does concern me about that, is you've got a really good program in BYU coming in that's going to be big. It's going to be physical. You're playing them on a Saturday. Odds are that is going to be a 3:30 or later kick. It's just a guess. BYU's a national name. ESPN will probably broadcast the game, and they'll want to put it in a spot where they know they will draw eyeballs, especially with a program like BYU out of the Big 12 that does have a somewhat of a national following and pretty reasonable brand name recognition. But then you got to turn around and play the defending champs of the American just days later. Now, you don't have to travel. That's the good news. It's not one of these deals you're traveling back from Utah or anywhere else and then turning around and playing Thursday. But you still have to get ready for that Army triple option. So I don't think the schedule makers did Blake Harrell and the Pirates a big favor there. In fact, I think that's you'd have been better off not having maybe playing BYU on a Thursday and Army on a Saturday and having a little extra time to heal up and get ready. But it is what it is, and you got to play them. You can only win the games they lay out there before you. That's what your job is. But I don't think that is a great scenario shaping up for East Carolina early in the season. Now, the other part of that is you would think a Thursday night there'd be a big crowd. Students would turn out in a big way. And you'd also have, more than likely, a military appreciation kind of tied into it. So the military installations throughout Eastern North Carolina likely would be there as well. So that's a positive thing there. All right, Pilk, your thoughts on that? Obviously, I'm going to just call it spot-on analysis from the great P-Man there on that scheduling quirk and the difficulty it presents.
Well, I'm going to go a little
already
deeper.
A pretty challenging schedule.
Because
you're going to go deeper. Of course.
Because
you got to try to
No.
usurp the man whose name's on the marquee. Go
No,
ahead.
The
Go
man
ahead,
whose name is on the
usurper.
marquee gets paid by ESPN and has to watch his mouth. I don't get paid by ESPN. I get paid by the ECU Sports Network and Interbanks Media, none of which made this schedule. So here it goes.
Right.
Not that I think, like some fans, because there are idiots out there that think they're out to get ECU. It's
I don't
all
think they're out to get
a
easier.
plot.
I think some paper pushers did some bad scheduling, is what I think.
What
some
it is-
network executives did some bad scheduling in conjunction with the conference.
It's ESPN not giving a rat's behind, not thinking with their head. In the words of Coach Dugan, that's the thing that's 3 feet above your ass. How can you not think with that? They know we're playing Army. They could have made Army.
I have short, stumpy legs. I think it's more than 3 feet, but go ahead.
But you're not crying after, and I don't have to tell you there's no crying in baseball, so we're good. The point is, they had the opportunity to make BYU Friday and then give us an extra day before Army. I mean,
That's a good point.
Because that was an either or as well. Why don't they just? I mean, look. At the end of the day, you got to play. You got to play.
It's not ideal, but play it on a
think
Friday.
about it.
Not ideal, but play it on a Friday.
But the point is, they selected some other game to be on Friday over us. Is the point? They knew we had Army because they clearly have rights to both these games. That's why it was an either or. This was not a conference thing. This was clearly a Disney thing. And everything Disney touches nowadays turns to crap. And now they're giving you Army, the triple option, on short rest, when we always have Navy when they're coming off a bye, and we never are. I mean, just think a little bit. That's the problem, though. These networks don't think. It's about the almighty dollar. It's about what they care about. They don't care about the human factor. They don't care that it's going to be a short turnaround and there's a better chance these young men get hurt. They don't think about that kind of stuff. They think about them. And that's why Disney is selfish and they're jerks. And that's why their product stinks nowadays. And that's why they've ruined Star Wars and a bunch of other crap that Patrick can't say because Patrick gets paid by ESPN. But I don't. So up yours, ESPN.
So here's the other thing I will say that happened that probably is a little bit of a, interesting part of that. And that is, you're spot on. You could have played that game on Friday. It would have helped tremendously in the rest and given it more of a regular feel. I mean, it's a couple short day turnarounds, but again, because of what you're saying, a major concern. And I mean, again, the physicality of BYU, and then going to take on Army, and obviously that's a different beast altogether. Pete Thamel from ESPN, Florida State and Clemson will vote tomorrow on an agreement that would ultimately result in the settlement of 4 ongoing lawsuits between the schools in the ACC and a new revenue distribution strategy that would solidify the conference's membership for the near future. Thamel crediting Andrea Adelson, himself, and David Hale, all of the aforementioned worldwide leader. By the way, Pilk, I did see one of those ads that pops up on the World Wide Web, and it is offering Disney. Is it Hulu that's affiliated with Disney, William?
Yep.
It's the most quietest you've ever been, which is not a bad thing.
Well, I believe it is Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Plus.
Right, for $16.99 a month. That's a good deal, isn't it?
I would pay that. I once had a Spotify once bundled with Hulu, and it was something like $10.99 a month. So getting all 3 of those is a good deal in my eyes.
Okay. William, don't speak anymore today. All right, I'm kidding, William. I'm joking with you. All right, the ACC Board of Directors is scheduled to hold a call Tuesday to go over the settlement terms. In addition, Florida State and Clemson plan to call meetings of their own respective boards Tuesday to present the settlement terms. All 3 boards must agree to the settlement for it to move forward, but it is expected that a deal can and will be reached. According to sources, the settlement includes 2 key objectives: establishing a new revenue distribution model based on viewership and a change in the financial penalties for exiting the league's grant of rights prior to the conclusion of the June 2036 deadline. Key details, writes Thamel: 40% of TV money distributed evenly among legacy ACC schools. So who would that be, Pilk?
Well, to me, that would be the original 8 members. Obviously,
Original
South Carolina's.
7.
Yeah, South
Right, the
Carolina
original
would be
7.
way gone. Yeah, because exactly, it'd be 7 because Maryland's out.
If that's the case, that's a big score for Wake Forest.
Now, where does Georgia Tech fall into this? They didn't join until the 70s.
But
Are they considered?
That's what I'm saying. Would you consider Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, and even Florida State as legacy members, because Florida State has been in the league for over 30 years?
That's true. They joined in 91. You got Georgia Tech, who joined in the 70s. Obviously, Maryland, their original member, they're out. South Carolina, their original member, they're out.
Yeah.
So out of the original members who came from the Big South Conference in the early 50s that are still there, the only true legacies would be Southern Conference, yes, sorry, thank you, be the other 6. So you got Clemson, Virginia, and the 4 North Carolina schools. But I'm with you. I would guess that Florida State coming in at 91 as well as
South Carolina.
Georgia Tech would get something.
So 40% of the TV money goes to them, those legacy schools, even though it's not defined in what I'm reading here who the legacy schools are. William, look this up and see if you can find out who the legacy schools are. Do something over there. 60% by ratings based on formula over the last 5 years. It's Pete Thamel, William. Pete Thamel, ACC. Google it. Top ACC earners could net more than $15 million, I guess, in addition to what they're getting paid now, while some schools will see a net deduction in annual payout of about $7 million. Total cost to exit the league after 2030 is expected to drop below $100 million. So it gets a little cheaper sooner, but I thought it got cheaper sooner anyway. The devil may be in the details on that one.
Was that a
So
pun
there you go.
intended?
It could be. Speaking of Duke, my dad, the coach, got some tickets. He's going to Wake Forest, and he's taking my nephew.
It's a senior night tonight?
Fitzpatrick J. Yeah, he wanted to go see Cooper play. That's what he told
Hey,
me.
he should.
Probably be the last time you'll get to see him play in Cameron.
Yeah, it's going to be his last game in Cameron. Everybody who thinks that he's coming back, that's a publicity stunt, and he will not. He's going to the NBA, and he's going to not the Charlotte Hornets, because they'll never, anytime there's a legit number one pick, will never win the lottery. So, yeah, that's it. It's going to be his last game in Cameron. It's going to be freshman night for Cooper Flagg, and hopefully he can get a victory. And if John Shire wins tonight, in two of his first 3 years, he will have gone undefeated at home.
Wow.
He's only
Did
got
you find
2 home losses,
William?
I think.
No, I can't find anything about legacy schools. There seems to be no clear definition besides the 7 that y'all listed.
6, well, 8 maybe if you count Georgia Tech and Florida State. All right, that's fine. We'll learn more about this. Might be good to get Wes Durham on one day this week, Pilk. Wes owes us an appearance. At least that's what we need to tell him. Wes, you owe us an appearance.
All right.
So, last thing, I guess baseball's talking about reinstating Pete Rose, making him eligible for the Hall of Fame because of President Trump pardoning. Look this up. What is Pete Rose being pardoned for?
He already being reinstated? He was banned for life. He's no longer alive.
Yeah.
He wasn't banned forever. He was banned for life.
Right. And life is over, clearly. William, figure out what that is, okay? All right. Now we put his mic up. Now he doesn't want to talk. Jeez Louise. Do you know how radio works, William?
I have a loose understanding.
It is a loose understanding. That might be the line of the day there for William. A loose understanding. All right. While William is looking that up, we're going to hit a break. We're going to come back. Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. We'll talk bubble teams. That's kind of been the big talk of everything going on this weekend. So we'll have Jerry Palm join us less than 2 weeks from Selection Sunday. Who's in? Who's out? Does Wake Forest bolster its chances if they win tonight at Duke and get in? Can North Carolina bolster its chances if it were to beat Duke Saturday and get in? We'll find out. We'll also find out what the fate of Memphis is. Tigers had a big win yesterday in comeback fashion against UAB on the road and got the win. So Memphis is in a really good spot to claim the regular season crowd. So we'll talk all about that in the American and more on the Patrick Johnson Show. We are at Tiebreakers. It is Coach Swartz with us here tonight. And we'll be also having R.J. Felton, who had a victorious senior night, 27 points, and Jay Woodard, who chipped in with 14. We'll be back on the PJ Show here on 94.3 The Game on air, 94.3thegame.com online, and on the IBX Media app.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Download the new IBX Media app now and get the show for your ears and eyes.
Doesn't it look great on me?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right, we are less than 2 weeks from Selection Sunday, and obviously everybody's going to be paying attention to the bracketology over the next couple of weeks. On the conference tournament starting this week. And, of course, next week as well. Pilk, we got Palm?
We do.
Awesome. Jerry Palm, CBS bracketologist, CBS Sports bracketologist, joins us here. Jerry, thanks for coming back on with us. I know you're busy this time of year, but it's always good to talk to you. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about the the bracket as it sits now, coming out of the weekend when you've kind of revised things. A lot of people in this part of the world are kind of wondering where a couple of teams from Tobacco Road may wind up. Wake Forest has an opportunity tonight against Duke. Can that salvage an opportunity in a bid for the Demon Deacons, even though they've had some pretty bad losses here the last couple of weeks?
Well, it wouldn't be the final thing that they need to get in. I mean, if they beat Duke and then lose again, I don't know if they play this weekend, they probably do, and then, losing their conference tournament, then beating Duke was a waste. But, the funny thing is, I mean, funny in a weird way, they had a 4-game stretch where they had 3 teams at home that they should absolutely beat, and then they had a road game with SMU that you try and get. Well, they got the road game with SMU and lost the games, all 3 of the games they should have won. And if they win those games, we're having a completely different conversation about Wake Forest. But the problem is that league is not strong enough to give up 3 games like that. There just isn't enough quality teams in that league to make up for something like that. Now, Duke, obviously that is the standard bearer, and Clemson and Louisville are, borderline top 25 type teams in the bracket, but that's about it. They may not put another team in the bracket, the whole league. So, but Carolina's got a shot and Wake's got a shot, but Wake's shot probably largely depends on beating Duke or beating a couple of higher quality teams in the conference tournament, which means making a deep run.
Yeah, the Deacons have Georgia Tech to close things out this weekend. So as soon as you said, I don't know their schedule off the top of my head, Jerry, I thought, okay, he doesn't have Wake Forest anywhere near this thing. But North Carolina kind of interestingly is. And I heard a lot of stuff because I was traveling with work this weekend. So I got a chance to listen to a lot of sports talk nationally and specifically some college-directed sports talk. And they gave a little bit of kind of the idea of, hey, we're going in this direction we feel like North Carolina. I think Luke Hancock, who's on the ACC network and works for ESPN, was on one of the things I was listening to, and he feels like North Carolina's is right now on the right side of the bubble. Where do you have the Tar Heels right now, Jerry?
I have them out. They're in the first 4 out, and the problem for North Carolina is that they are 1-10 in Quad 1 games, and they have a Quad 3 loss at home to Stanford. So I've been doing this 30 years. No one's ever gotten an at-large bid that was 1-10 against Quad 1 opposition. I mean, that pretty much screams we're not an NCAA tournament team. So, George, obviously they finished the year with Duke, so that's an opportunity, and that's the home game for North Carolina, if I remember correctly, right? And then they're at Virginia Tech before that.
It's at Chapel Hill. Yeah.
And they're at Virginia Tech before that. So obviously you have to win at Virginia Tech and take your chances with Duke. But, if they're 1-11, 1-12, whatever, on Selection Sunday in Quad 1 games, and they don't have a win over anyone else going to the tournament, in or out of the league, then there's really not much the case for North Carolina. They're going to have to beat someone good. And they're going to have to do it before the end of the season. Obviously they're going to get a shot at Duke, but then if they, that fails, they're going to have to beat them, Clemson, Louisville, somebody in the conference tournament to even really entertain a conversation.
The great Jerry Palm, CBS Sports Bracketology, with us here, has got first 4 out: Nebraska, Carolina, Wake Forest, and Ohio State. In his last 4 in, Xavier, who's won 19 games. You got Baylor in the Big 12, Boise State, who's won 21, and Arkansas. With the exception of North Carolina, only Baylor in those first 4 or last 4 in has a higher net. Everybody else is slightly behind the Tar Heels. Pretty close, but slightly behind.
Yeah.
Ohio State has the highest net of those teams that are out. What I find is interesting is, at some point when it comes to the SEC and the Big 12, and look, I acknowledge that the SEC is the gauntlet. It's the best conference this year. But you have to, at some point, the actual wins and losses, and this is kind of what you just laid out with North Carolina, the actual wins and losses matter at some point. They have to.
Oh, yeah. So you absolutely do. So you're mentioning the net. So the net is it's what they call a predictive metric. Ken Palm is another one. I mean, he's actually trying to predict, scoring margins for games. Torvik is another, the BPI from ESPN. Those are all on the team sheet. Those are all predictive metrics, and they are heavily influenced by scoring margin. The selection and seeding process is not. They're going to the net is used to, quantify what's a Quad 1 win, what quadrant your games are in. But that's really it. If your net ranking is higher than someone else's, that's not going to get you in the tournament ahead of them. It's going to be what's on the resume. And there are some metrics that measure the quality of a team's resume and doesn't really take scoring margin into account. Those metrics, I find to be a little more reliable. But for just as an example, for North Carolina, in the resume-based metrics, 54 for Kevin Paga's rankings, 42 in strength of record, which is ESPN. Wins against bubble, they're 45. So those are metrics where if you were going to just use those, they're probably not making the tournament. And in fact, that's the position they're in, probably not making the tournament, but it's not over yet. So, and it's funny because there are some teams you hardly ever see big disparities, but Gonzaga and Memphis have really big disparities between the margin of victory influenced metrics and the ones that don't, like almost 25 spots on average between the two of them. And for Gonzaga, they're favored in the margin of victory based, the predictive metrics, and for Memphis, it's the other way around.
I'm just scanning here. Do you have the Zags in, or is that West Coast?
Yes, in the middle of the bracket.
Okay,
but their top 10. Their net ranking is higher than the seed I have for them.
Gotcha.
They are number 8 in the net and a 9 seed. But here's why. Their best wins, teams in or near the bracket: Baylor, San Diego State, Indiana. That's a 10 seed, a last four in, and a just outside of last four in. Those are their best wins. So when they win big, which is why the net loves them and metrics like that. But they haven't beaten anybody. That is, they haven't even yet to beat a definite tournament team in all of their games. So, and they've got 2 losses to teams that are definitely not making the tournament. So it's just, how do you give that team a high seed when they haven't shown they can beat high quality teams?
Memphis, on the other hand, you have squarely at 6. I haven't covered the American this year. I can tell you, I think the conference tournament, and Memphis is very good. Don't get me wrong. And they've got some impressive wins. They won some games early, which seems to be.
Which they have to do because they can't count on their league to give it to them.
Right. But, from a competitive standpoint, it has been a competitive. It's got a ton of 1 possession, 2 possession, and 3 possession results among it. Now, we can debate the merits of that another time. Point is, it wouldn't shock me if Memphis didn't win the conference tournament. I certainly wouldn't be stunned if they did, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they did not, with it being in Texas, and you've got North Texas, which I think is a really good team, and I wouldn't want to be playing in March.
Second best team in that league.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be playing. And look, that was a big win for Memphis yesterday at UAB to be down at the half and win against the Blazers. So if North Texas or UAB win the conference tournament, you feel Memphis is squarely in and they won't get dinged too much? What are you seeing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Go into that a little
bit.
Yeah,
Memphis is not on the bubble. Memphis can't see the bubble from where they are. Memphis, I mean, you talked about the quality of their wins. Memphis smartly went outside the league because they know they can't count on their league to give them the kinds of games they need to get good seeds or even selected for the NCAA tournament. They've got 3 losses in the league that are quad 2 and 3. That doesn't help them, but Michigan State, Mizzou, at Clemson, Mississippi, UConn. I mean, that's better win. Those 5 wins are better than any Gonzaga has, any of them. So, that's the kind of thing that's going to get the committee's attention much more than the fact that their net ranking is in the 40s.
Right now, Jerry, you got Houston in the Midwest as a 1, Tennessee is a 1, Duke is a 1 in the East, Auburn as a 1 in the South. Are those pretty locked in, or is there any fluctuation that you see in the one seed line?
I think Auburn is all but locked up the number 1 overall seed. Duke, it would be stunning if they lost enough to fall off the top line. Those 2 have been the best teams in college basketball all year, and their position on the top line appears to be unassailable. And then, Houston, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, and even Michigan State all have a shot to play their way up and finish on the top line. And so we'll have to see what happens in these conference tournaments. Alabama's had a murderer's row schedule down the stretch. They just played Tennessee. Then they're going to get Florida at home. They've got to go, I believe, to Auburn. I know it's Auburn. I'm not sure if the game's at Alabama or Auburn. I think it's at Auburn.
I think it is at Auburn, because they beat them at Alabama earlier in the year.
And of course, Houston's in the Big 12, Michigan State in the Big 10. So there are challenges ahead. But of those 7 teams, 4 of them play in the SEC, which means at least 3 are going to lose in the conference tournament, whereas the others can all still win their league. So, there's still some mobility at the, for the 3 and 4 overall spots in the bracket, and we'll just see who's able to step up and grab them.
Hey, Jerry, how many times will you be updating things over the next couple of weeks? I know you'll also be on TV a lot with CBS Sportsnet. So what's kind of your schedule here for the next couple of weeks, and give our listeners a little bit of some insight into, what you'll be looking at, the data you'll be poring over, and all of that goes into the methodology over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure. So I'm updating the bracket every day now. Like today's update was no change, as it turns out, but I'll be updating every day. And then, I look at the same stuff. I try to look at the same stuff that has been important to the committee. They always break it down to who'd you play, who'd you beat, who'd you lose to, and where'd you play them. So, those are the kinds of things that matter. And, the metrics help a little bit. You can't get carried away with them. They don't make decisions. and scoring margin isn't a factor when they're looking over resumes. So you can't get too wrapped up in that either. But, teams that played a strong schedule and did well against that schedule, those are the teams they want to put in the NCAA tournament.
Hey, Jerry, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. We'll catch up with you down the road, I hope, and best of luck with the predicting the field. It's an inexact science, but you do a great job at it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Jerry Palm, there he goes. What do you think, Pilk? Look, Palm's as good as, I know the worldwide leaders guy gets a little bit of the hype, but Palm's pretty darn solid.
No, Palm's great. The reason why I think Lunardi gets the big hype is because the games are broadcasted so much on ESPN throughout the build-up. So it's a lot easier to throw him on, whereas Palm is on CBS, and CBS Sports really only – there's a few Big Ten games and some other ones that are on big CBS, but for the most part, you got CBS Sports, which has got the Mountain West and the A-10. So that's just why you don't see him as much before.
They do the semis and the finals for the Coastal Athletic Association, as it's known now. Geez Louise.
So, don't get us started on that one. But, I think that's the reason that Palm just doesn't get he just doesn't get presented to you as much as Lunardi, but he's just as good, if not better, at what he does.
Here's what I would say to the worldwide leader. Don't do the screenshot, the half screen, where you put the game up in a little box in the corner. And then we've got to listen to Lunardi, like a big box of Lunardi talking during the game.
I agree.
Let's either even the boxes or make Lunardi's box smaller.
Why do you need to see him? He's talking. He's not presenting anything. He's not writing on a whiteboard.
Correct.
I mean,
by the way,
why do you see him?
We're hacking on Lunardi, and I'm not. Even though he's never come on the show, even though we tried to get him on the show, he won't come on. But Mull's back working with Lunardi this year. He told me that over the weekend.
You said that Mull is back on his team?
He's going to be back on Lunardi's team, doing all the pre-tournament write-ups and all that.
Look at our guy Mull. Maybe Mull can hook us up with Lunardi. That's what we need. We need Mull to be there.
I keep trying, but you know how Mull is. We can barely hook Mull up with Mull. All right, here's a couple comments from Mike Schwartz. Pilk, I'm going to do this, then we're going to say goodbye from Tiebreaker so I can get ready for the show. A couple of cuts, do an update after the however you want to do it, and then you'll take us home. Mike Schwartz, this is the big one, I think. He talked about the rivalry with Charlotte, and, this has been an illustration of why it's a rivalry. Play it.
What was your take overall in terms of just the physicality of this game today and you guys being able to survive that and get the win?
Oh, they're a great ball club. Coach Fern is a great coach. Charlotte program. This is what rivalry basketball is. This is what March rivalry basketball is. Right. Take out the records. You know what? ECU and Charlotte wants to be in that conversation of a great rivalry. And I would say their great fan base, their coaching staff, their players, our great fan base, our coaching staff, our players want to be in that. And you know what? It was that today. And give them credit. They didn't quit. We had a really good second half. We didn't execute some things down the stretch. Free throw line hurt us, obviously, with a chance. But that's what basketball is. And Nick Graves is a heck of a player. And he had a heck of a game. And he kept them in it. And we had to just answer the bell. And it went down to the final second. We've been on the other end of that where we found a way to get it done in those games. So you learn from everything is what I'll say, and that's what we just talked about it.
All right, and then William also has great to hear Jim Szoke there, by the way. William also has something on the Pete Rose thing. He was charged federally for tax-related stuff, right?
Yes. So, as we are all aware, Pete Rose got in trouble with baseball for gambling, but what I think he did on top of gambling was he filed 2 counts of tax fraud, false tax returns, and served a 5-month prison sentence. So Trump didn't mention this in his case Friday or on a social media post, but this is what he will be pardoned for.
Those are the charges that he would be pardoned for. Okay. Well, there you go. That makes sense. All right. Thank you, William. Good work there. Pilk, you ready for an update?
Yeah, ready to go.
You want to do it now or do it after the break?
I'm going to do it now.
Okay. Well, we've got some breaking news on the broadcasting front. Philip the Ref Pilkington with that update when we come back after this timeout Well, actually, we'll hear from Pilk now. Then Pilk will take you home the rest of the way. Back tomorrow, 45-minute edition leading into the baseball game against Gardner-Webb. And Mike Mullis is scheduled to join us there. So we'll be talking to Mully about the Pirate baseball tomorrow. That'll be our focus. All right, my schedule, I'm on Talk of the Town, hosting the next 3 days. We'll still have shows. The only day we do not have shows this week right now is Friday. But we'll have shows Tuesday with Mully, Mike Mullis, Brian Mull on Wednesday, talking hoops, and then we'll be at Minji's for an hour of the show. We'll have a studio component for you on the back end, but we'll have Cy Seymour and others from Williams Arena on Saturday. Are you going to be there, Grover? Is that what I'm understanding?
I will be there with you at Minji's on Thursday.
I was so looking forward to it till I got that piece of information. No, thank you, William. Great to have you.
You're looking
here.
forward to your boy Dom,
and
we.
Yeah, Dom and I have a little. We have a little simpatico. Is that the word?
I would say spark. Spark would be the word I would say.
Okay. No, William and I have a good relationship, but Dom and
no,
I
it's
have
chemistry. What they have is not a spark. Let's not. No, him and you and your boy Sonny
that
have
is
a
little
spark.
Strange.
Yeah, you and your boy Sonny have
here
a
we
spark.
Go.
Yeah.
Here we go. What do you mean, Sonny and I have a?
He's
my
know.
BFF.
He's a little more than that. I think you guys are in love with each other.
Wait a minute.
It is a
What does that?
non-physical relationship that I believe you and Sonny are in.
I will
you guys
not
are,
stand for these accusations.
No, you guys
That's
are like you guys like each other way too much.
I don't like Sonny annoys me to no end.
Exactly, like an old married couple.
Doses, in very small doses, I could take Sonny. When we get bigger doses of Sonny, it gets to be a smidge much.
Maybe he loves you
Sonny,
then.
though. He's
Maybe
my
that's
guy.
what it is. Maybe he's got a
Sonny
thing
loves
for you.
everybody. Sonny loves everybody. Sonny's a good guy. We love Sonny. There's not a more. He and Cy Seymour are two of the most positive people on earth, and we love them both. And then you have me, the classic black cat, for sure. Sonny's the golden retriever. I'm the black cat of that deal. Wouldn't you agree, William? You're a little bit of a golden retriever, too.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes. Yeah, take it. Take it as you may. To quote Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down. All right, Pilk with an update, and then he'll come back to wrap up the hour. Pilk?
Thank you, P-Man. Starting in Pirate Athletics, a pair of Pirates got some all-conference honorable mentions on the diamond, one on the baseball side, one on the softball side. Pirate relief pitcher Ethan Young and softball outfielder Anna Sawyer. Football has confirmed a pair of dates. The entire schedule was released late last week. The BYU game will be on Saturday, September the 20th. Army game has been moved up to Thursday the 25th, so a little bit of a short turnaround for the Pirates between the Cougars and the Black Knights. Basketball got a big win over Charlotte this weekend, 78-76. They swept the season series. This will also guarantee the Pirates at least a 500 record in conference play for the first time in AAC play, as they got their 9th win. They currently sit at 9-7 in conference play. They will be hosting Tulane on Thursday night. The women's basketball team will have their senior night contest this tomorrow as they host first place UTSA, who is 25-3 overall. They got a big win on the road at South Florida, who's been the perennial leader in the American for the better part of the last decade. And Pirate baseball goes 2-1 in the LeClaire Classic. They'll be back in action tomorrow down in Fayetteville when they take on the running Bulldogs of Gardner-Webb. That can be heard right here on 94.3 The Game at 5:45. That'll do it for your. Oh no, one more thing. Sorry, a little breaking news. Jimmy Johnson has announced that he will retire from broadcasting. He has been in it for more than 30 years. Obviously, most recently on Fox after his legendary coaching NFL career. That'll do it for your sports update and Pirate Report. We're going to take a time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt & Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt & Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Pirate fans, 2025 East Carolina football season tickets are on sale now and can be purchased for as little as $115. Head coach Blake Harrell wants you to be a part of his first full season as the Pirate coach as he builds momentum off of the 8-win season and the Military Bowl win over North Carolina State. Call 1-800-DIAL-ECU or go to ECUPirates.com today to get your 2025 season tickets.
Sometimes you just don't know if you want to kiss him or slap him.
Ow!
Either way, he'd probably like it. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into the Patrick Johnson Show. Philip Pilkington taking you the rest of the way home as the P-Man gets set for Inside Pirate Athletics, which can be heard right here on 94.3 The Game as part of the ECU Sports Network at the top of the hour. He will be on that with Coach Schwartz and Pirate basketball players. Dom Kasulki will be on the ones and twos as Dom walks out of our production studio now. He came by to say hello on his way in. And, we talked a little bit about at the beginning of the show now that it's been officially announced, this football thing. But let's just kind of do a deep dive because it broke last week. I guess I can't remember if it broke Thursday evening or Friday and we were already at baseball or what it was. But the ECU football schedule is out. Obviously, we already knew. State on the road Thursday night, August 28th to open it up. Still don't know the channel for that. There's a few other games that night. They did announce, whatever day the ECU football schedule broke, that South Florida and Boise has also been moved to Thursday night. That game is in Tampa, not in Boise. So that could affect, what channel ECU gets put on now that you have another game that night. So just kind of a heads up there. But I know most of the Pirate Nation will probably be making the drive down 264 to the Triangle to watch us whip up on those little wolfies. Next game, we already knew the next three, obviously. Home against Campbell. No start times on any of these, by the way. Then we head down to Conway to take on the Chanticleers, or as Joey Football likes to call them, the Beach Chickens. Then, as official, it will be a Saturday game against BYU on September 20th. So that was already determined. Out of conference schedule. And then we knew the conference opponents. We knew the locations. We just did not know when. Now, something to note. 2 bye weeks again this year. It depends on how many Saturdays fall between what is 2 days after Thanksgiving from 2 days before Labor Day. Sometimes it's 13. Most years that's 13 Saturdays. That's why we've only had 1 bye. Last year and this year it's 14 Saturdays. So that's why, for those of you who are wondering, it went to 2. Quick turnaround Thursday night against Army just to follow it up with a bye week. So Pirates get a decent amount of time off. Here's the nice thing, though, about it. Coming off of the bye week, it's another Thursday night down in New Orleans against Tulane. So it's going to act as a normal, the team will just treat this as a normal bye week because it's still Thursday to Thursday, so it's 14 days off, so that's how they'll do that. Then they'll return home, play Tulsa on a Thursday night. Now, the one thing I have not looked at is if Tulsa and if whoever we're playing for that, Tulane will be coming off short weeks. I should have made note of that. Who knows? They could have buys, but they could also be coming off a short week. But let's pull up their schedule real quick. It doesn't want to give me the schedule. It wants me to just, look at last year's schedule, of course. So looking at Tulsa here before they get the Pirates. Phone's lagging out. Sorry, I should have had all this up already. I apologize. They will be coming off of a bye week. So the Pirates will not be coming off a bye week, but it won't be a short week either because they'll have played the Thursday night before. So no advantage there. And then when you look at Tulane going back a week, sorry about this, it just gave me their basketball schedule. Okay, can't find it. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to bore you guys sitting here while I scroll. So anyways, so then the Pirates get a mega bye week because after the Tulsa game, there is a bye week, and then they don't play again until Saturday the 1st when they head down to Temple. Then they'll host Charlotte, host Memphis, go to UTSA, go to FAU. It kind of stinks being on the road back-to-back weeks to end, but I will say this. You get Memphis at home after a home game, so there's no jet lag there against a team you should beat. God forbid the ghost of Biff Poggi doesn't reign in on Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. But overall, I'm a little upset, as I said earlier, about the BYU leading into a short week against Army, but this is not a bad schedule the way it lays out. Now, obviously, the opponents are determined way in advance, but just the way the conference did it, you get Tulane, then it's going to be tough, but you get a little time to decompress. You get Tulsa, Temple, Charlotte. Right there, that's a stretch you got to go 3-0. And then you close the season with Memphis, UTSA, FAU. So I think this team gets a lot of opportunity to find itself before it faces some of the teams that are near the top of the conference, and Memphis and UTSA. Of course, UTSA was a little down last year, but I'm sure they'll be back. Coach Jeff Traylor will not be down long. And like I said, then you close it on the road at Boca with FAU. Now, the good thing about that one is if you're looking to head down to Boca, it does say Saturday. It doesn't say Saturday or Friday. So fingers crossed we don't play Black Friday. So it's kind of just an overall brief of the schedule while we had some time to kill here as we wrap up the Monday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. I had about 6 minutes, so I'd give a quick brief thing there because I think a lot of people were so caught up in Pirate baseball and the LeClaire Classic and all that kind of forgot to really look at the Pirate football schedule. So obviously we'll talk about it more on this show. We'll talk about it more on Hoist the Colors as time goes on. So that'll do it for our Monday PJ Show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Top of the hour will be Inside Pirate Athletics live from Tiebreakers, fourth to last edition of that show. It'll be Coach Schwartz this week and next, and then it's going to be Coach Godwin the following 2 weeks. So that's kind of the schedule there. I'm going to hop off here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great rest of your evening, Pirate Nation, and we will talk to you tomorrow when we have Mike Mullis on the show as we get ready for Pirate Baseball.